All right, guys, this afternoon I just wanted to kick off Ripple Effect with a short testimony. Not going to make this very long, just going to be kind of a brief, short video. But so I'm going to talk to you about how we got started with this Ripple Effect idea. So, you know, God kind of gave me this vision a little while ago, probably about 8 months, six or 8 months ago. I can't remember exactly how long. He said, I want you to start videoing. I want you to buy some cameras. I want you to start videoing. I want you to start interviewing people. I want you to share your testimony. I want you to share testimonies that you've seen. I want you to go out in the streets and minister, and I want you to tape it so that you can show it to people, so that I can get glory, to let people see that you can do this, that it is something that you can do. You can be a part of what God's doing. You can be a minister anywhere that you go. If somebody ever asks you the question, are you a minister? Of course you're a minister. You're a minister of the gospel. You may not be a minister in a church. You may not be a pastor, but you are a minister. Every person in the whole entire world is a minister for the gospel. They love Jesus, they're a minister. So God spoke to my heart, told me He wanted me to set this thing up, start doing this, and I got very excited about the idea. You know, you get excited when it's time to buy things, especially new toys. I love electronics, so for me it was a big deal. But yeah, God just kind of showed me. He said, you know, I want you to do this. I want you to kind of start your ministry in some element. I want you to get out there, and I want people to see you on a day-to-day basis. I want them to experience what you're experiencing, and almost in some reality. So needless to say, 6 or 8 months ago, I came to my wife and I said, hey honey, I said, I feel like the Lord's kind of prompted me to do this thing. And she said, I really feel the Lord on this, but I feel like that we're in a season to wait. And of course, you know, I think like anybody else, especially when you're excited about something, you want to go and do it. And I think it took me a day or two for that to sink in, but eventually I said, okay, I know my wife, I know she hears the Lord. I'm going to pray into this. And so I prayed into it, and He said, just let it sit. You know, it's yours. It's your destiny on it, but I want you to sit on it. And I said, okay, God, I'll sit on it. And didn't really think about it. You know, I just kind of put it on the shelf for a little bit. And afterwards, probably, you know, about a month or two ago, somewhere in that range, we've been at it right, like, I think about 8 months now. My wife had said, originally she said, I think we're supposed to sit for, you know, probably 6 months or so. Let's just say October, November kind of realm. And I said, okay. And so I just didn't think anything else about it. And then right around October, I kind of forgotten about what she had said. And I came back to her and I'm like, I really feel the Lord prompted me again on this thing with doing this YouTube channel and getting out there with the social media and just being able to be a voice for the Lord. And I told her, I said, you know, I really feel the Lord on this. She said, you know what, it's funny, we are exactly the 6 or 8 months, because she had said the dates. She said October, November. She said, you came to me with this in October, and that's exactly what we had said originally. And I had completely forgotten about that word. So it was a sweet kiss from heaven, that His timing was perfect. And that being said, you know, here it is, it's October. I go to True Fest, which is where I work at. I work at True Lion, and True Lion has a year or an annual like meeting for the entire company. We get together, we celebrate the year, we celebrate each other, we share, you know, some testimonials about what God or what True Lion has done and what the members have experienced. So in some element, they have a lot of the same kind of core values that we have about reaching people and being the change that you want to see in the world. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to sit at, and looking around the room. They got all kinds of booths and things that you can go to and prizes you can win. And so I found a couple of people that I wanted to sit with, and come to find out that I sat down at the table right next to the president of the company. He had set his stuff down, walked away, and I saw a buddy of mine. I walked over and said, hey man, you mind if I sit next to you? And he said, sure. he said, but you're going to sit next to the president of the company. And I thought, okay, well, that's just a God encounter in itself. That's just favor. And so I sat down and you know, we got to share some conversation and talk a little bit and communicate some and just hear his story a little bit. It was encouraging to know that, you know, we are I think a $2.2 billion company, and I could sit next to the president of the company and have a conversation at lunch just about life and things that he's experienced and where he grew up and things of that nature. And so that was a sweet moment. But, you know, like I said before, they had booths where they were doing giveaways, and so I sat down for the first session, got up for the second session, and I went around to some of the tables and started filling out, you know, the little tickets and things like that for them to pull your name out. And come to find out, I'm sitting there, me and my wife, we were having some conversations through text messages. I really wasn't even paying attention. And I got a tap on the shoulder from the president of the company saying, hey, you just won a prize. And I thought, okay, well, what did I win? And they said, well, you just won a GoPro and an accessory bundle. And then about 5 minutes later, they said, you know, they had these cards on the table. They said, you know, pick a card off the table, scratch it off, and whoever has the winning ticket will actually win the basket that was on the table. So I won a GoPro, an accessory pack, and the basket on the table. I've been to this thing for 5 years. I've never won anything. And here we are at the pivotal point where we're talking about launching a ministry for YouTube and stepping out, and I get a GoPro dropped in my lap for free. Shooting 1080p and all the things that I was looking for, the qualities that I wanted to have to be able to do this right. I wanted to have quality video, and I wanted something that looked good and sounded good. And so it was a kiss from heaven. I didn't even know what really a GoPro did. And then I did a little research after I won one, and we got to play around with it, and it really was a blessing of the Lord. And that's what we're using right now. I'm driving down the road, coming home from work, using the 45-minute drive that I have every day to just spend some time with you guys and love on you and share some testimony to encourage you. So I wanted to say this, just to make this a little bit shorter, is when God says he wants you to do something, then he's going to show up in it. You know, it might take time. There are going to be hard times and struggles that you'll come with, don't get me wrong. But God is going to breathe on that thing, and when he does, things are going to happen. You know, things that people said were impossible become possible. You know, we took a trip to London 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in January. 2 years ago, people told us we were crazy. They said we'd never go. We couldn't raise the money. At the time, we had a 3-month-old. I had never been to London. I didn't know anybody in London. We just had this vision God gave my wife and really impressed upon my heart. And so we stepped out in it, and God showed up in every way. Blessed us financially to be able to go. We actually had money left over to go on the next trip that we're planning this September. And so God just, whenever he breathes on something, it just becomes easy. You know, doesn't mean that everything comes easy, but it does mean that things just fall into place. And so I just want to encourage you, if God's breathed on you about something today or in the past few weeks, or you've got a dream that you need to take off the shelf, today's the day to take it off the shelf. You know, take it off, dust it off, ask Jesus what he's saying about it, and ask him if the timing's right, ask if the time is for him to breathe on it, and just do whatever he does. Whatever he says, do it. I mean, Jesus, when he was on the earth, he said, I never did anything I didn't see my Father doing. So I don't want to ever do anything I don't see Jesus doing. So I encourage you, press in, ask him about it, talk with him, pick those dreams up off the shelf and start launching things that God's trying to get you to walk in and step out in. It may not be easy, but God's going to definitely bless it if he called you to do it. So remember, he's holding your hand through it, that he loves you, that he is in every element. If it is hard or struggle, that you're growing. Not that he placed struggle or hard on you, but that we live in a fallen world, and with that comes struggle. You know, God is bigger than any struggle. He will heal the sick. He'll raise the dead. He'll cast out demons. He'll cleanse the leper. So I don't think there's anything he's not capable of doing. So step out today in what he's called you to do. I just encourage you to get alone with him in his presence. Maybe turn some soaking music on. Just ask him what he's doing, what he's saying, and just open your eyes in the spiritual realm to see what's happening. So I just want to encourage you today. That's our story with the GoPro, how we're kind of getting started. A little bit of testimony about stepping out into missions with our London trip and what we've got coming up. So I will sign off. We are the Ripple Effect, Josh and Emily Jones. You can look us up on Facebook. I think we'll have an Instagram soon. Leave your comments if this encouraged you or if it's just what you needed to hear about dusting off the shelves. We love you. We're praying for you. Continue to watch, subscribe, like. We'll talk to you on the next one. Love you guys.